Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Planet for Tech. I hope you all are doing great and learning lots by watching all the continuous episode of the series Master in WebDriverio and Cucumber.js. So today in the episode 3, I am going to describe you first BDD test how we can do how we can start BDD test in our project. So today we are going to test the login page scenario. So I have created one project in a Laravel. So that project I am going to test using the WebDriver IO and Cucumber.js. So let's start. So first of all, we will look like how many steps we have to take care, and means it's kind of checklist every time if you are going to test any particular scenario. So you have to go through those checklist. So let me show you it one by one. So before moving ahead, let me show you the project structure, like how the directories are structured there and what directory is going to contain what kind of data. So let me show you this. Let me start VS Code. So here you can see in VS Code, this is my Cucumber.js project. So in this you can see we have the features. So this features folder is most important because all the codes are going inside these folders. So under the features folder, you will see there are another set of folders available. So the first one is what feature file. So this features file is a login.feature. Here I have created login.feature. You can give any name, but the extension should be dot feature. So this login.feature, what it is going to do, so here we are going to write the syntax of you can say core syntax of the Cucumber JS. So here we are going to write like what is the feature. So there are few keywords predefined available in Cucumber JS. So those we have to use. So this is the kind of feature. So here you can give any string whatever you want, and the scenario. So scenario like one feature can have multiple scenario. Let's take an example. You might see there are login page in a Facebook and other social media networks. So there you can log in by mobile number and you can log in by email ID as well. Even though you can log in by your LinkedIn account. So there are lots of way to the login in the same model feature. So one feature can have multiple scenario. So here I'm going to show you only the first scenario. The scenario is what? Login with the default user. So what we are going to do, so this scenario is saying like we are going to log in using default user details. Simply means we are going to give the username and password and we will do the login there. So this is all about this kind of scenario. So we can have multiple scenario as well. Let's suppose you want another scenario in the same feature. The feature is what? Login feature. But in this login feature we want to log in by the social account. So we can make it like login with a Gmail account. So like that we can have multiple scenarios. I hope you understood like what these scenarios are. So one feature can have multiple scenario. So this is the first point before starting the BDD test. So you have to define scenario and feature. So this feature is having this scenario. This is scenario 1, this is scenario 2. Apart from this, every scenario will have. So here what we have done, let me show you one. Let me make a note for you. So in the first step, what we have done, you have to define a feature. Define feature. So once you define the feature, inside the feature, what you need to do, you need to define scenario, and every scenario is going to have define steps. So in every scenario, we have to define some steps. So those steps we are going to check. So here you can see the scenario is what? Login with the default user. Let me change it. Login with username and password. So this is our first scenario. And here I will go to the login page first. So given, when, then, these are the different steps keyword you can use it. So the first step is what? Given I am on login page. Then after what we are going to check when I log in with the default user. So simply make it I enter username and password. After this what we will do, I will click on I will click on login button. So these are the scenarios. So let me show you a login page, how login page is looking like that. So guys, you can see here, this is the login page of my project. So this is the login URL. So this URL we will take when we need. So in this login page, what we are going to do, firstly, we will give the email, add a username and a password. Then after what we will do, the login button, we will press the login button. So the first step is what? I am on login page. And the second step is what? I am going to give the username and password. And the third step is what? I will click on the login button. So once the third step is performed, so obviously this we are going to redirect it on the other logged in home page, or you can say dashboard page. So these three steps we have to check how we are going to do here. So step we have performed. So what is the sequence? Firstly, you have to define a feature. Then under the feature, you have to define a scenario, and under that you have to define steps. So this all we have done. Now come to the next phase. After this, we have to define step definition. We have to go for step definition. So for step definition, what we have to do, just see here. So under this feature file, we have defined this feature. Now I'm going to define the step definition. So you can see here under the features folder itself, there is a step definition folders. So in this folder, step definition folder, we can have the JS file. So I have the login.js. So in this login.js, what we have to do, simply we have to include import this given when, and then these are the cases we have to import from Cucumber library. So this one I have done. So you can see here, after this you have to write this one given. So let me write it for you. So let me comment it for now so that I can describe you in a better way. Let me comment this as well because this is not needed right now. So what you need to do, firstly you need to write given. So this way, this is, you can say, you can consider like this is the first step. So what here we have I am on login page. Simply copy this complete string from here, from the login.feature file to the login.js, and here you have to give that string. So every steps is going to have two things. The first thing, the first parameter will match, you have to give. In this function we can pass the argument as well, but I will describe you how we can pass the argument to the step definition in the later episodes. So just now you can see here, so this is what I am on login page. So to go in the login page, what we need to do, simply we have to perform one we have to redirect to the particular page, and this way we can copy it and we can create another steps as well. So the second step is what? This is when statement. So here I have to give the when, when, and this step we have to pass. And after this, we have to check the third step. Third step is about click on the login button. So you can see here all these steps are defined properly. So you can see it is looking properly. Now here we are going to uh, put the activity what we are going to perform on this particular step. So here you can see this is all about the step definition in a step 2, and here we need to define the activity. So what we can do, so here you can see we have the page objects. Under the page object folder we can we have two folder, mobile and web. Mobile is for mobile device testing, but here we are going to test the web page application, so we have to go under the web. So here what we have to do, we have to create one login page and page. So I have created this one. So this is the page.js. So this I have created as a super class, and this page I am going to extend in the login dot page. So in the login dot page I have extended that page, and here we have created few methods. So I'm going to describe you these one by one. So just see why we need this definition, because of here we can't write all the code in a single file. That is why we just to have the proper separation, we have created separate packages here. So I am just importing that login page here. So this login page is coming from the page objects web and the login dot page. So this is the login dot page. This is the login dot page. From here it is coming like that. So now what we are going to do, so in the login dot page we are going to do login dot go to login. This function we have created, and as we have a sync, so we have to use here await as well, like this. So in the go to login, what we are going to do, just see here, this is the most critical part, and here the complete business logic is going to come. So what we have to do, so in the login dot page you can see I have the created class login and extended the super class page. This is not yet mandatory, you can design your own pattern, but what I have done is the recommended approach, so you can use this, otherwise you can define your own design architecture as well. So here you can see the go to login, this page, this function, what this function is doing, this function is nothing but browser stuff, browser dot URL. So this browser is the WebDriver iOS, you can say the object, browser dot URL. So here we are passing test database URL and the auth and login. Instead of that, you can pass the complete URL if you want. Just to make it more simple, you can pass the complete URL instead of this way. Let me show you how we can do. Now you can see, so this function will, what it will do, it will redirect the user to this particular login page. Let's see by running this is happening or not. Let me show you in a terminal. So this is the first feature we have complete. First step we have done, I am on login page. Now going to write I am on a username, I enter username and password. So for that again we need to write one more method, await dot login. It's not dot login dot enter username, enter login detail. Let me make it login details. So this function we have to create in the login page. So here I'm going to create one function, async enter login details. So in this we have to give the login details. So before giving the login details, we need the we need the control of username and password. Here you can see, so the username is nothing but from here you have to get the selector first. So for this the selector is what you can see here, input type email and id is email. So this selector we have to take there. How we can do that? So for that simply we can have the I have created here username, this function get username, this is the password, this is for the login button. So this way we can have three getter setter method. So here selectors dot email, selectors dot password, selectors dot button login. Now what this selectors is, so what I have done here, just it is very simple to understand. You can see we have one more folder here, that is properties. So in the properties folder we have to go to the web folder. In that we have selector.js. So in the selector.js we simply need to create one object, and in that object I am going to pass all these details like email, password and button login, like that. So email is the email ID, and the password and the button login. So this way you can pass all those information here. You have to make sure this selector must be the CSS selector. As we know, like there are different kind of CSS selector, we can select the control by their ID, by their class and by the attribute name. So this way, and by the tag name also. So there are different kind of CSS selectors. So those CSS selector we have to use it here. So you can see the selectors JS is having this object with email is equal to email, HTML, password and button login. So this selector we have imported here, and in this selector we are going to use here selectors dot email, selectors dot password, selector dot login. So what we can do here, you can see await login. We are just given like await this dot username and set value. So we are passing the value this way, and we can pass the password as well. So for that, what we are doing, password. So let's see what we have to do next. Once we have set this username and password, we can take this data from the test data file as well. So for that, what we need to do, there is a one more folder you can see here, that is the test data folder. So in the test data folder we can have this data, and from there we can bring it. So in the test data folder we have web folder, mobile folder. For web specific test data we can keep it here, test data.js. In this test data.js I'm going to have the username, and in this username I'm going to pass the username, and we can have other data like password as well. So this I'm going to have the password. So this username and password we can take from the test data as well. So for that we need to include, so you can see it is already imported here. So this test data we can use username, and here we have to use password. Now let's see is it working or not. Let me run this script. Go to terminal. We have to check the bash terminal, npm start. You have to see one Chrome browser will started. Here you can see, and the username and password we have given there. Now the next step is, you can see here it is passing. The first step, second step is passing, third is as well, because in the third step we have not defined anything else. So let me go there in the login feature. The first and second step are passing, and the third one is also passing because we don't have anything there in this step definition. If you want something to log, so you can use console.log. Like, now we have to uh, click login button like that. So you can see this log here in this terminal. The first step, second step, third step, and you can see there, but I don't know why it is not showing there. That log should show. I think we are missing here. Now, oh, spelling mistake. Now we have to click on the login. So this way you can see the flow how it is working. So first of all, what it has done, you can see the sequence one by one. It navigate to the, this is the command, it navigates to this particular URL, then it goes to this URL post operation, and the URL, in this URL we have given the data as CSS selector email, and in this we pass the email ID. So you can see this all steps how this is working. So this email ID we provided, and after this we have checked for the password, and the password also we provided. So these all step you have to check one by one. Now the last step is what we have to click on the login button. So as this video is going to be very large, so in the next video I'm going to describe you how we can perform the click event, and we can go to the dashboard. So in the initially few videos are going to be lengthy because it's just initial stage. You have to understand each and everything. Later on all videos are going to very short, because we till that time we will have the enough knowledge, and we will have the confidence so that we can move ahead very smoothly. So till that you have to practice till this line, and in the next episode going to describe you the step third, like how we can click on the login button and we can go to the dashboard page. So thank you guys, thank you so much for watching, and let's come to the step episode 4. There we are going to understand next. Thank you so much.